She was Hollywood royalty, graceful, glamorous, and adored by millions. But beneath Natalie Wood's dazzling smile was a fierce rivalry she kept buried for years. This wasn't just professional jealousy, this was personal. And when you find out who she hated with every fiber of her being, you'll never see old Hollywood the same way again. Natalie Wood was one of the most beloved actresses of her generation. A child star turned leading lady, she captured the hearts of audiences with unforgettable performances in West Side Story, Rebel Without a Cause, and Splendor in the Grass. But behind her polished image and classic Hollywood poise, Natalie was entangled in a bitter, silent feud, one that simmered for years and was never publicly addressed. That is, until whispers began to surface after her tragic death in 1981. And now, decades later, the truth is coming out. Natalie Wood hated one woman in particular, an actress whose name still commands attention today. That woman was Tuesday Weld. To most people, Tuesday Weld and Natalie Wood had little in common beyond fame. But within Hollywood's elite circles, their tension was no secret. According to multiple sources close to the two actresses, Natalie felt threatened by Tuesday's rising stardom in the 1960s. Weld was bold, enigmatic, and unpredictable, a new kind of woman in Hollywood, unafraid to challenge the rules Natalie had spent her whole life playing by. To Natalie, who had grown up under the studio system's tight grip, Tuesday's free-spirited attitude felt like an insult to everything she had worked for. But it wasn't just career envy. The real feud may have started over something far more personal, a man. Natalie Wood was famously involved with Warren Beatty during the early 60s, and while their relationship was rocky and filled with drama, it was also deeply emotional for both of them. Enter Tuesday Weld, who was rumored to have had her own fling with Beatty, either during or shortly after his time with Natalie. Though it was never confirmed, the rumors were enough to plant the seed of lifelong resentment. Natalie reportedly felt betrayed, humiliated, and, perhaps worst of all, replaceable. Friends of Wood say she rarely spoke about Weld by name, but when she did, it was always with a sharp tone and cold stare. One insider recalled Natalie calling her a selfish little opportunist who didn't care who she stepped on. For a woman known for her grace and diplomacy, this kind of bitterness was rare, but it shows just how deeply the wound ran. The rivalry extended beyond romance and into their careers. Weld was offered roles that Wood desperately wanted, including edgy, complex characters that would have marked a bold shift for Natalie's image. When Tuesday walked away from certain projects, it only added to the frustration. Natalie reportedly felt that Tuesday took her career for granted, while she herself had clawed her way to the top from childhood stardom through sheer discipline and sacrifice. Yet the most striking part of this feud is how well it was hidden. Unlike today's stars who feud in the headlines and on social media, Natalie kept her resentment behind a velvet curtain. In public, she was the picture of elegance. But in private, this rivalry festered quietly, becoming one of old Hollywood's most enduring unspoken dramas. Natalie Wood died under mysterious circumstances in 1981, and many secrets went with her. But those who knew her well say this one rivalry, this one hatred, was unlike any other in her life. It wasn't just professional rivalry. It was betrayal, pride, and heartbreak all tangled together.